Sup my dudes, Val here, and today we're going to be doing a direct comparison between Tengen and Igris to see who is better at the end of the day, and I'm going to be taking a look at it. I made a calculator that we can go ahead and plug it into and see exactly who's better based off the numbers we have. So here, first off the comparison, yes, Tengen's only level 49, so he is one level off, whereas Igris is level 50. But you can see he's A, and Z+, and then here we have Igris on all A's. You can see he has 24.3 range while being on Z+ range. Igris has 24.5, so on placement, Igris is a lot better. In fact, we have Igris to 100%, so we could actually come here and see if we can stat roll and, you know, get a little bit better stats. Not really. So, we're going to go ahead and be rocking with this. It's slightly better. 200 more attack. So we have 2009k to 1840. So 2009k, 2090 to 1840. Really close in terms of base stats. Let's go ahead, let's get into an infinite, get them down and see exactly how good they are. We don't need Hawk or Rin because I actually made a calculator. So we don't need Hawk or Rin. We're going to bring Vegeta just to hold off early waves and go from there. So we're going to be comparing directly Tengen versus Igris here. And we're going to be seeing exactly which one's better. So yeah, let's go ahead, let's grab this up and go from there and see exactly what's doing what. Let me go ahead and prep the calculator. By prep the calculator, I mean open its own tab so I can swap over when need be. The other thing I want to make sure is... Boop. Okay, yeah, you guys see that good. Cool. So we're going to be able to do that. This is basically going to be like a live stream video. We're going to do this, and we're going to put down a Speedwagon. We're going to upgrade him a bunch. Now, very quickly, before the wave swaps over, we want to put down 2 Speedwagons. Oh, the wave already swapped. I'm a goofy goober. Yeah, we're going to make sure to do this and get rolling on this. And once this counts down, we're going to start again, and we're just going to keep this going and getting our farms up until we can max out one of each. And we're going to be maxing them out in the back because I want to know their base stats without like any scaling or anything, because I am considering their passives. There's the reason we brought Sungjin Woo is literally just to consider his passive. So yeah, I am thinking about their passives. I think the passives play a pretty important deal in it all. So we're going to go over here now. We're going to start setting up here because, like I said, I do want space in the back to be able to actually work on stuff. So yeah, we're just gonna have Vegeta hold it down, and we'll probably put an Igris up front because he doesn't get passives like that. His passive doesn't ramp up like Tengen's does, and I do want to know their base value so I can easier calculate their passive, and we can do Hawker Rin and all that stuff. So we're gonna go here, we're gonna then go here and start upgrading our farms, and we're just gonna keep it pushing. We have a Vegeta, and we're going to go from there. But soon, we'll be able to place our second Vegeta, and that'll be pretty good, because we'll be able to maintain wave control more up front, rather than having to place all the way in the back here. So yeah, we're going to just chill out and wait now. I think I'll be able to place the second Vegeta very soon. Sir, a second Vegeta has hit the towers. Alright, so we put that Vegeta down, and now we're going to go here, upgrade our Speedwagon, and we're going to keep upgrading these guys, because like I said, now we got Vegeta number 2, and with these Vegetas being as spread out as they are, it should be really easy to maintain wave control for quite a bit, so we can go ahead and get our samples set up and running. So, we're going to go ahead and do this, and go from there. And then we're going to set up our calculator afterwards and see exactly what we're working with. So we're going to go here. Boom, 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 boom. So, yeah. In my opinion, who do I think is better just off rip without seeing the math? I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I've already done the math. I can tell you right now, Tengen is better, unless you plug in Sungjin Woo. If you put Sungjin Woo's buffs on the table, then Igris does better, but the fact that how expensive it is to set all that up, And Sung Jin Woo's not as good as he was because of all the changes, the nerfs to his active cooldown, the nerf to Igris. Arise being such a long cooldown now makes it so Sung Jin Woo's not nearly as good as he was, and Igris not being as buffed or as good as he is, or as good as he was, I should say. The buffs to Igris, like, they lowered how much Igris gets from shadows now. It used to be like 30%, I think it's like 10% now. But yeah, basically TLDR, them nerfing Igris, in my opinion, kind of killed off Sung Jin Woo. Because that was, if you go watch my past tier list, that was the whole reasoning for even bringing Sung Jin Woo to begin with, was his synergy with Igris, because Igris was just so dominant at the time. So let's go ahead, let's put down Igris, let's see what he does. You can see he gets minus 10% SPA, plus 20% on placement. Whenever they get something on placement, we're just not going to count it in the calculator. We're just going to consider this as their base stats and go from there to make life very easy. So yeah, we're going to do this, upgrade all this, and go from there. And I know my Tengen has Z plus range. However, one thing to really note, one thing important to note, is the fact that he's only level 49. So it's going to be interesting to see how this stacks up, because they're pretty similar to each other. They both have ethereal, so I don't have to calculate for trait. I don't have to calculate for anything. I can just look at it and go. They're both pretty much all A stats, except for Tengen has that Z plus range. So yeah, we're going to be able to just pretty much directly compare once we can max out 2 of them. So we're just working on maxing out our Igris first, and then we're going to go from there. And then once Igris is maxed out, we're going to work on maxing out Tengen. And then once Tengen's maxed out, we'll be good to go. I think like 1 or 2 more waves. Yeah. 1 or 2 more waves and we'll be solid. And we'll have our data for our Igris. And I'll put that in while I sit here and just wait on stuff. Once we have the maxed out Igris, of course. I'll put in my data and I'll be able to start setting up the calculator for you guys, so you guys can see exactly what we're working with here. And what we're working with is the numbers, Mason. What do they mean? So we're going to go ahead and let that rock and go from there. Let's see. That should be max. Okay. 16,920, 5.4, and 39.1. Let me set this up real quick. So we're going to go here. 16,920, 39.1, and 5.4. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and factor in the Haruka Rin buffs already, and that way we have that ready to go. Next up, we're going to go ahead and start building up our Tengen. We want our Tengen in the back so we don't just get that SPA reduction. So we're going to put him next to Vegeta. I know Vegeta loves the company. You can see we're not going to be counting, just like we're not counting the on-placement passive of him, we're not going to be counting this damage and range for him whenever we start doing the math. We will be counting the SPA reduction in our calculator, but we're going to get there first and just see. So we're going to see how important that SPA reduction is to actually like stack up and stuff. Put the other Vegeta right there. It puts the Vegeta in the bag. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do that. We got Igris working overtime up front. We want him to get fully built out. You can see he's much, much faster to get to full AoE. Much, much faster. And we're going to go from there. The SPA looks a lot higher, doesn't it? It really does. He ends on 16.92k with Ethereal. And now we're going to get to see exactly what Tengen ends on as well. So, yeah. Don't they tell you DPS value right there? Yeah, 3.12k. Okay. And Tengen ends on a much higher attack stat. You gotta remember, he's a whole level down. Yeah. 3.12k versus this. 2.16. Like I said, we're gonna figure it all out here in a second. Alright, so we're gonna go from there. Almost there. Almost to the climax. I know, we've been waiting forever, right? And then we're gonna calculate Sung Jin Woo's passive on everything on top of it. We're gonna do it all. Alright, so big ol' yap session probably over by now, yes. So here we can have 2.51, 18.36, 7.2, and 48.1. So we're going to go ahead and put this in. I know you guys can't see me putting it in, but you guys will get to see once I have it all set up. 8.1, and then 7.2. Yep. So we're going to put all that in. We're going to make sure to get rid of all these that I have down. We're going to put the Haruka Rin buffs in, which is 18% damage, 10% range. Give them both that. And I think now we have a good, accurate indicator of where we're looking at. So here is what I mean by I know Tengen's better, right? I haven't even calculated the SPA down in yet, and I haven't calculated this right here, the damage and shadows, but there's also Sungjin Woo buffing as well right here, which is 25% more damage to Igris. So Igris gets 35% damage and 10% range off of this, but it's a timed one. It's not super consistent. I'm gonna consider it anyways, but yeah, he's already getting this passive, and then he gets 25% damage when dealing to boss. Tengen gets 30% damage consecutive attack on the same enemy. We're not going to be counting those. We're going to leave those alone. So we're going to be counting the SPA down because this is very consistent to get up. And then we're going to be counting the Sungjin Woo buffs out there a bit. So let's go ahead. Let's flip over to the spreadsheet now, and you guys can see what I see. So now we're at the spreadsheet. Here you can see at the top we have Tengen. Tengen right now is, with the Haruka Rin buff, is 21,653. 52.9 range and 7.2 total SPA for a DPS of 3,007.36 for a total damage in range of 105. Well, first we got to do 3 and 3 placement. So total damage of range of 105,377, whereas Igris gets to 19,966, 43 range, 5.4 total SPA, and then a total DPS of 3,697. A total damage and range of 105,313. So now let's go ahead, let's add in the buffs, which for Igris is 35% damage, 10% range. This is Sungjin Woo plus Igris. And then we're going to count in the 30% SPA reduction for him. So now you can see with Sungjin Woo added, he's at 4,794 DPS. But 148,963 versus Tengen's 150,539 total damage and range. So even though he has more DPS, the 30% SPA passive Tengen has puts him over the top to just be better. He's just a better version of Igris, and he's just really, 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 really good. So now whenever people ask me, Valk, why do you say Tengen's better than Igris? Math. Simply put, the math just says Tengen's better than Igris. The 30% SPA reduction is insanely powerful. It is very, very, very good. Like I said, I'm not even counting the fact that he can get 30% more damage, where Igris can only get 25%. The only thing you have to ask yourself is Igris' stun immunity more valuable than Tengen's damage? Because Tengen absolutely does more damage than Igris, but Igris does have that stun immunity, which is really, really, really valuable in some contents. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys agree or disagree with me? I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.